and welcome to the Tell the Truth. Now, our first guest today can tell you what it means if you dot your I's and cross your T's, or if you don't dot your I's and don't cross your T's, or if you do dot your I's and you don't cross your T's. And I hope you understand that, because I haven't heard a word I've said. In other words, we have got a handwriting expert on as our first guest. We'll meet him or her or it as soon as we say hello to our panel here on To Tell the Truth.
Bill Cullen, Kitty Carlisle, Gene Rayburn, and Peggy Cash.
Hi, panel.
Hello, Gary.
Hey, we got fun and games today just to start with. Look at here. Now, I'm going to give you a little time to look at that, because this is an example of the handwriting of a very well-known person. Now, the analyst says that there's evidence here of an extroverted personality with an expansive and enthusiastic style, a flexible, fluid, and generous person.
Holy
Any idea who that might be?
Gotta be
Peggy
me.
Cat.
No, it is not. I don't
Fluid
write
and
like that.
generous. Fluid could be Peggy.
I know the
No.
writing.
It says U.S. information. Oh, no.
I
No?
recognize-
All right. Now, let me go a little further. The analyst also says that there's evidence of vacillation in self-esteem. There are indications of secrecy, uncertainty, and evasiveness. It's the same fellow or
Same
person.
guy?
Does that
Nixon.
fit anybody? Who?
Nixon.
The
You
president.
said it, and that's what the analyst said. President Nixon, indeed.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
I wouldn't say it.
Oh, I'm so smart. I can't stand it.
You're so smart, and you're
also
so
an
obviously a
expatriate.
Democrat. Well, all right.
Right on.
Now let us meet the expert who made that appraisal.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Harry O. Telcher.
Number two,
My name is Harry O. Telcher.
number three,
My name is Harry O. Telcher.
And just in case there is some confusion, Harry is spelled H-E-R-R-Y. Our job is to find out which one of these three is Harry Telcher, and here is a typewritten, that's interesting, a typewritten affidavit. It says, I, Harry O. Telcher, am an authority on handwriting evaluation. Through handwriting samples, a trained analyst can learn about a person's potentialities and hidden skills. Physicians are using handwriting as a means of detecting mental and emotional disturbances. Indeed, my opinion has been sought in the investigation of several major murder trials. I've written a book on the history, technique, and uses of this fascinating subject. In my study, I present analyses of such diverse personalities as Ed Sullivan and Irving Berlin, Sigmund Freud and Helen Gurley Brown. That's a funny pair. Winston Churchill and Adolf Hitler. My new book is titled Handwriting, Revelation of Self, signed Dr. Harry O. Telcher. And again, for newcomers in the audience, we have put some paste over the front of this because the picture of the author is on there, and we just wanted to blank that out. All righty, now it's time for a commercial, and we'll be right back. The puzzle of the moment is that all three of these people claim to be Dr. Harry Telcher, renowned handwriting expert. We'll start the questioning with Gene Rayburn, why not?
Thank you, Gary. Dr. Telcher, number two, what are you a doctor of?
Psychology.
I see. And number three, how do you help a physician?
By taking samples of his handwriting and diagnosing them.
What diseases
A
can you
physician
diagnose?
might come to me to ask for an evaluation of a particular person's handwriting.
All right, number one, how can you give us an idea without revealing the names, how you helped an attorney at a murder trial?
Well, I was called in after the Lee Harvey Oswald assassination of President Kennedy.
gracious, what a note of suspense to get the buzzer on. We go to Peggy.
Number 3, do you think that a handwriting analysis is as valuable in evaluating a personality as a Rorschach test?
I think it is more valuable than the Rorschach test.
Number 2, if a person was born left-handed and went to school and they changed that person into a right-handed person, could you still evaluate the handwriting?
Left-handedness or right-handedness has nothing to do with the
Well, it's
actual.
not the dexterity of the writing, it's just the writing itself. Number 1, don't you think this would be just as valuable as a Wasserman test before you get married? Make the guy write a letter, take it down, check him out.
This has been done with people engaged to be married.
And have you ever said nix on him or nix on her?
Oh, yes.
You have?
You got Nick's on the mind there, haven't you? That's
Oh,
good. Well, she started, I didn't. Let's go on to Bill Cullen.
I don't want to play. I have to study for my Wasserman test I'm taking tomorrow. Number 3, is it possible for a person who suspects that perhaps what he is writing might be analyzed, is it possible for that person, by writing in longhand, to disguise or hide these otherwise hidden traits?
I don't think so, because if a person tries to disguise his writing, he will always do very obvious things like change his slant or make some curlicues when he just makes regular dots in the eyes.
Thank you. Number 2, can you tell the sex of a person who has written a message? Figured not paying any attention to it.
Sometimes, but not always.
And that takes us, please, to Kitty Carlisle for the final question.
Number 2, would you say that this art that you have of analyzing handwriting is an exact science, or do you make up your own rules?
It's a very exact science.
Is it well known? Can you teach it to other people then?
Yes.
It is something that you don't have to do by divination or instinct.
You are thoroughly trained in it.
I see. And number 1, where is the best person to learn this sort of thing?
Well, there are many places in the United States, but there are more in Europe that train it today.
I see. And number 3, you say you could find hidden talents. What would you say that Mr. Nixon's best hidden talent would be?
His best hidden talent. I don't think that Mr. Nixon hides his talents
I
very
see.
much.
Number 2, can you tell genius?
There goes the ding-dong, just in time. We must now vote. We must decide whether we think it is number 1, or do we think it's number 2, or do we perhaps choose number 3? In any event, we pay $50 for each wrong vote. We pay $500 if all the votes are wrong. Gene Rayburn makes the first step.
I make the first step, and I vote for number 3, Gary. I asked dumb questions, and I really didn't find out anything, but everybody else did the same, so I just taken a guess at it.
All right.
Agree with that?
I accept that evaluation. We've got a 3 showing there, and let's go to Peggy.
By my astute questioning, I decided, well, because I love her voice, and I wouldn't mind if she told me I was awful if she did my handwriting, because she reminds me of Ethel Barrymore. I voted for 2.
We've got a 2, we have a 3, we have a Bill Cullen.
Well, I like number 3's considered answers, and I also like his appearance. He sure looks like someone could really analyze your handwriting or anything else. For that reason, I voted for number 3.
It's 2 3s and a 2, and Kitty Carlisle, what
Well,
are
I
you going
know
to do?
I'm wrong because I forgot to find out what Harry, spelled H-E-R-R-Y, stands for, and I think it's probably Henrietta. So it's the lady on the opposite side of the desk, but I voted for number 1 anyway.
Anyway, well, they're all over the place, and here we go. Will the real Dr. Harry Telcher please stand up? Doctor, we'll be back to you in a moment. Let's find out about your friends. Number 1, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Don Green, the owner of the Arigato Japanese Steakhouse here in New York.
All right, been there. And number 2, who looks like a seeress, and indeed does look like Ethel Barrymore. What is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Elena McKnight, and I'm a painter, art historian, and lecturer.
Now, Dr. Telcher, let us establish that your credentials go beyond graphology. You are also a qualified psychologist and a psychotherapist. Is that
That's
not
correct.
true? Fine. Now then, if you'll join me center stage, we have some handwriting taken from the panel. Now, these were arrived at rather sneakily. These are handwriting that the panel doesn't know we have. We're going to try to analyze them. And first, I'll read it for you, in case your set isn't tuned right. This one says, Beto, I've gone to bed. Please wake me at 3:30. Love, Bill.
Well, that's a giveaway. You got the name on there.
Who's Beto?
Who's Beto?
My brother-in-law.
You say to your brother-in-law, love, Bill?
No. My brother-in-law's name is Mary Lou, so there. No, that's my wife and I call her, oh, that's ridiculous. It's a pet name anyway for my wife, and she calls me...
Doctor, let's find out. Tell us what this tells us about Bill Cullen.
Now, Bill shows a combination of creativeness in his style of writing, the unusual formation of his capitals, but his creativeness and resourcefulness is not everything. The lower part of his letters, like the G's and the heavy pressure, show an excellent balance considering his practicality. In other words, you combine both creative, artistic abilities plus a very practical aspect of life.
Very well, Doctor. I hate to, I don't really want to hurry, but we can't linger either because, now this one is a fascinating note. It says, I hope you're having a nice time. I miss you, and this is just a tiny note to enclose check. CHEQUE. John is sending pants. I will send food to my favorite pudding. Love, Mother. And then down here is part of a recipe that has nothing to do with the note up here. What does that tell you about who?
About Kitty Carlisle. It tells me that she is a very generous woman who extends herself sincerely towards those people she loves. The writing is sort of sprawling over the page. On the other hand, the writing also shows a great deal of determination in the very determined aspects of her writing, lettering and so on. And it tells me that regardless of any reverses she may have encountered in life, she definitely is able to pursue an objective till she has finally realized it.
Quite good and quite accurate. Now, this one doesn't tell us anything, really. It doesn't tell me anything. This is an address. Mr. Roger Peterson, who is our associate producer, care of Goodson Todman, 375 Park Avenue, New York City, a zip code, and many thanks, Gene Rayburn.
Well, Gene Rayburn's handwriting tells us that at the time of writing, he was very much interested in sifting, as it were, through a number of either propositions or plans. And while he's very flexible and so on, he has not yet quite made up his mind in which direction to go from here. But it also shows all the earmarks of a creative individual.
Maybe he was getting a proposition from Bill's brother-in-law. Now, here is one that was written to our producer, Bruno Zerato. It says, Dear Bruno, I hear you are taking pictures of the panel. Since I have a black eye, could you postpone the session till next week? The course never runs smoothly, my dear. Love, Peggy.
Now, tremendous sense of timing, and also the feeling that Peggy likes to conduct her life the way she pleases with the least amount of interference.
You bet your bippy.
And also very generous, but she does what she wants, and certainly very creative ability. And she's very focused on everything. She comes right there and she's pitching right here and there.
And to the point.
To the point. Right.
Well, I know we could go for hours on this, but you've given us a marvelous example of this skill, and thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Imposters, for being with us on the television. Now then, 2 weeks ago, I think it was, a couple of weeks ago anyhow, here in New York Times, the editorial writer Tom Wicker stated that the only thing wrong with the United States is that it isn't working. Well, now, our next guest has just completed a college course designed to remedy that situation, and we'll meet her in a moment after we move some merchandise, hopefully off the shelves.
Got a new...
And now let's meet our Miss Fix-It.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Peggy Rubin.
Number two.
My name is Peggy Rubin.
Number three.
My name is Peggy Rubin.
Okay, that's what they say. Only one of them's telling the truth, of course. Here is Peggy Rubin's story. Get back, young lady, where we can get real good pictures of you. That's fine. Stand there so we are. That's it. Now we can see you nice. Here goes the story. It says, I, Peggy Rubin, learned how to tune up a car. Also how to rewire lamps, fix plumbing, paint or wallpaper walls, and to mend busted stereos. It's all part of a course that I took in college. I go to an all-girls school, and part of our training for our future life is this course, which will prepare us for doing our own repairs when the repairman is late or just doesn't show up at all. In my class, I worked on the cars and appliances that belong to faculty members. It's a good deal. The faculty get their repairs accomplished free of charge, and we students get actual practice working on faulty or broken items. This handyman's course goes under the title of Chemistry and Physics Applied, Nuts and Bolts in Contemporary Society. Signed, Peggy Rubin. And Peggy, you handle your own life pretty well. Why don't we start with you?
Thank you. Number one, where do you go to school?
Goucher College.
And two?
Goucher.
Oh, you all go to Goucher. Okay. Now, number three, how many people took this course?
20.
And number one, how many applications were there for the course?
Well, there were about 70.
I think I'd love to take a course like that. Now, number two, say something happened to your toaster, the toast did not come up. What would be I would look at it and cry. Now, what would you do?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that you do is unplug it. And then you you get your tools and you take it apart. That's easy. Basically, you have to learn how to take apart and put together. Then you look at the terminal screws and
Who
you
teaches
see
you what a terminal screw is?
And then it goes.
You're already ahead of me. I don't even know what a terminal screw is.
What is that, Tom?
they're the screws that the wires are wrapped around, by which you get your electric current.
You live and you learn. Let's go to Bill Cullen.
Why do I have to be next? Number one, who are your faculty members? Are they all men or predominantly men in these classes?
Just this class or the whole?
The fix-it class.
There were 2 male professors.
Number three, is it not true that there are many things like toasters and beaters and things like that it's cheaper to buy new ones and to try to fix them, that they are impossible to fix?
Oh, not at all. That's what this course taught me. No.
Number one, don't you agree that there are some things that cannot be taken apart, short of breaking them?
I'm sure there are, but it's easy to replace parts of them.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Let's go to Kitty, please.
Thank you. Number two, is there any earthly reason, in view of your work, that a girl could not join the Electrical Workers Union?
No earthly reason whatsoever, no legal reason.
Thank you.
anymore
I
either.
mean, no reason, number three, of carrying heavy tools or anything of that nature? No. I've been agitating for this for years. Why shouldn't girls be plumbers, electrical workers, etc.? Number one, you know how to fix anything that comes along, don't you? Like fuses and so forth, television sets?
Just about.
Well, why couldn't you join a union and earn some money aside from just doing it around your own house?
Well, after this course, it was only a month course.
Yes.
I don't think I'd have the knowledge to do it.
But there's no physical reason that you couldn't.
Oh, no.
In other words, to do it for yourself, of course, as opposed to do it for the public.
Oh, yes.
Number one says. And we go to Gene Rayburn.
Yes. Number three, what is spackling compound?
It's a form of plaster that you use for patching small holes.
Yeah, number one, what's a nail set?
It's a small piece of metal to set nails in beyond a surface
Thank
so
you,
that they
number
can't be
one.
seen.
Number two, do the numbers 156324 mean anything to you in relation to automotive?
No, they don't.
They don't. Mean anything to you, number three?
The firing order for the pistons, but I don't believe that's correct.
All right, number three. What is
I hope it turns out to be number three. I don't know. We're going to have to find out about this. Suppose you're wrong, you're right for the wrong reasons. Will the real Peggy Rubin please...
No,
what?
I'm gonna vote.
Oh, you didn't vote. Oh, good heavens, I'm sorry. Vote for one. If you don't want to vote for one, vote for two. If you don't care to vote for two, vote for three. And everybody's going to vote. And we're going to start with who I've even forgotten, Peggy.
Yes. Well, I voted for number one because I know what spackling is, and she knows what spackling is, and therefore it's going to be her.
Okay, Bill.
Well, that firing order was very... Just girls don't come up knowing that. I voted for number 3. That was a good answer.
A 1 and a 3, and we go to Kitty.
I think number 3 is a racing car driver.
Me too.
And so I voted for number 1.
2 1s and a 3, and Gene looking
Yeah,
very
well, number
superior.
1 knew what a nail set was, number 2 knew what spackling was, and number 3 knew the firing order. They're all good. I voted for number 3 on kind of that.
Number 3
firing
said
order.
you were wrong, you remember, but now we will
but I
find out. All the votes are in. Will the real Peggy Rubin please stand up? Very good, girls. You're just great. Number 2, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Mimi Kennedy, and right now I'm a temporary secretary for Manpower.
Nice to have you with us, really. Number 3 with the firing power on the Pistons. Wow. What is your real name? What do you do?
My name is Maggie Vanderwood, and I take the Polaroid pictures on the back for the back of the Bank America cards.
How about that? Peggy, I'm getting a hurry-up signal from all around. We run ourselves over. Thank you very much for being with us, as well as your imposters on behalf to tell the truth, to take the truth. 5, 4, 6. Well, friends, I've just been notified that in spite of everything, we're invited to come back tomorrow. And we hope to see you at that time.
Guess somebody else...
And in addition to the cash awards, our central characters today will receive Carousel's Dolly M. Wagon Flexicurl, the creative new hair thing, both in 26 exclusive colors from Carousel, America's largest wig manufacturer. Transportation, other considerations provided by Chevrolet, featuring the 1971 Impala. More wheelbase, more glass, more sound-deadening materials, all at a Chevrolet price. Prizes or product mentions were furnished and or paid for by the manufacturers or supplier of the products or services identified on this program. This is Sonny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.